Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 1991 Isuzu Stylus. Up front is a 1.6 liter inline 4, and down below is a 5-speed manual transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this here Isuzu Stylus for a couple of reasons. First of all, when was the last time you saw one of these? For me, well, today. I didn't know that these cars even really existed, and so I'm excited to share it with you guys today. But the second reason, this is only the second Isuzu product I've ever reviewed. I'm excited to get another one under my belt. But before we get on to anything else, I have a website, zackpradel.com, where you can buy stickers like this retro sticker pack I have available for just $10 with free shipping. You could also submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me through a quick and easy submission form, and you could read my behind the scenes blog to see what I'm filming before it comes out on the channel. But let's get back to that 1.6 liter under the hood. Well, it's a 16 valve engine, meaning 4 valves per cylinder, and it's a dual overhead cam engine, which is fantastic. Not only that, but it makes about 130 horsepower, which isn't crazy, but it screams up to 8,800 RPM, which is fantastic. It's an Isuzu built engine, which was sort of a rarity in this era. Isuzu rebadged a lot of vehicles in the 1990s for the American market. I recently drove an Isuzu Oasis, which was a rebadged Honda Odyssey, but this engine was actually fully done by Isuzu themselves, which is really cool to see. Something I also want to add just visually about the engine is that it does look like an either shortened RB engine from Nissan or a CA engine from Nissan. Here's a CA engine from a 180SX. I think they look pretty similar, but maybe that's just me. All right, a little bit of second gear here on this rainy day. It's not fast, but it zips around. It's fun. You know, that 4-valve engine has that get up. I'm not fooled into thinking I'm driving a Lamborghini, but that's not really the point. The point is to have fun, and this car is fun. Like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed manual transmission. It is a cable style clutch. You have to be very intentional with the shifts. When you put it into the gate, you really have to muscle it. You have to fully want to go into the gate. But once you do, the Isuzu takes it like a champ. Last but not least, of course, the Stylus is front wheel drive. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the interior. We have some really fun 90s things to talk about in here. Well, in front of me, I have 5 gauges. On the far left is my tachometer. Up above that is oil pressure. Then I have my speedometer in the center, battery voltage to the upper right, fuel and coolant temperature off to the far right. These gauges are very analog, however, they are very 90s. On the steering wheel, I have nothing but my horn buttons, and that's it. It does have an airbag, but a very 90s steering wheel. Off to the left, I have my gauge dimmer switch, fog lights, rear defroster, and mirror adjustments. But up around the gauges, I have some interesting switches. On the left is my headlight switches, and on the right is my wipers. Very interesting. And for the headlights, when you turn them on, you press the buttons down, but to turn them off, it's actually a separate button that will pop up the other ones. Very weird feeling, and took me a second to get used to. On the door, I have my latch to get in and out, and then of course my power window option. So this was a pretty well-equipped Stylus for the time, which I think is super neat. Moving into the center, I do have 2 climate control vents, and then the climate controls themselves, very basic here. Fan speed, where to send it, and temperature. That's about it. And then I have where a radio would go. Of course, this is a 90s car, so the radio is missing. I assume to be swapped out at some point, and then the job was never completed. Then I do get a little ashtray. However, no cigarette lighter in this area, which is kind of interesting. And then the shifter itself. The shifter looks and feels very 90s GM, but also Japanese. This thick rubbery plastic, has the big accordion shift boot as well. Pretty much what I would expect out of a vehicle like this. And getting into this car, it smells very much like an older Corolla or older Geo Prism, which of course makes sense. Then I do get a little coin holder and of course our parking brake. However, this car has added heated seat buttons. The Stylus didn't come with heated seats, but somehow, some reason, a previous owner put heated seats in here, which is very, very strange. And I get some cubbies towards the back, but that finishes out the foreseeable interior, so there are no cup holders, meaning the Isuzu Stylus fails the big friggin' bottle test. Now, the seats are nice and comfortable. They are very 90s, honestly somewhat late 80s looking to me. However, I think that they are very comfortable, and for a little more compact car like this, I really, really like it. But speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the Isuzu Stylus, and it's not comfortable back here. This is a compact, small little car. That's just, it is what it is. I don't get any amenities back here. I don't get a center console. I don't get any cup holders. I do have an ashtray. God bless that I have an ashtray. But other than that, nothing really too crazy. The same material from up front carries on back here. Nice warm seats, at least on this rainy, rainy day, but nothing to write home about. Let's take a quick look at the trunk and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, around the back of the Stylus. Pull it up here, popped it from inside, and this is the trunk. It is, again, a compact car, so you have to expect that out of the Isuzu. Not a whole ton of space back here. You don't get any cool amenities either, but at least you do get a fairly sized trunk, at least for a 90s car. Not bad. Now we gotta talk about the looks of the Stylus, and I absolutely love it. First, let's get this walk around done. It kind of looks a little bit like a Mazda Protege, maybe. However, also at the same time, it doesn't. I think it looks super, super unique. It has this sort of smaller front end like a Geo Storm. Overall, it's incredibly interesting to look at. It's incredibly cool to see, and you just don't see cars like this anymore. That's the kind of car that I love reviewing. But now I do want to talk about one more thing with the exterior, and that is the exterior badge. Stylus handling by Lotus. So you'll see this badge twice on this car. On the outer doors and then once on the dashboard as well. They gave it sway bars and different shock absorbers. Thanks, Lotus. I guess that's pretty neat. But anyway, I digress. Let's get on to my final thoughts on this Isuzu Stylus. Well, I love it. I really, really do. This is a well-performing car, something I didn't really expect out of the Isuzu nameplate. Isuzu to me is just strange little cars. That's what Isuzu stands for. But in all reality, this is actually a well-performing compact sedan. I would say up there with the Mazda 323 and other Japanese brands. It's so interesting and iconic, and I keep saying that these are rare. This car was made from 1990 to 1993, and Isuzu only made 17,000 of them, which you might hear that number and say, 17,000? That's not rare. Well, in that same time period, 1990 to 1993, Honda sold 900,000 Honda Civics. 900,000! So 17,000 starts looking pretty small. The other reason you don't really see these anymore is because of their design. These are unibody cars, which is pretty standard practice nowadays. However, the front and rear subframe are actually incorporated into the unibody, unlike with other cars where it's a separate piece that bolts on. That meant that when rust started forming and things started breaking, they weren't as easy to repair. You couldn't just unbolt a subframe. It was a part of the entire car. And so when they did get rust issues, because, well, they were bound to get rust issues, most people either didn't fix them and threw them away, or it was lengthy repairs requiring cutting and welding, of which most people aren't really up for doing. So these were kind of disposable. They went away. So if you want to talk about rare, here it is. I love this little thing. I don't really have anything bad to say about it. This car feels very Japanese to me, which is good. This is an Isuzu, and at that, this is a very cool Isuzu. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Steve for letting me take out his Stylus. This is so cool. I really want to film an Impulse if anyone has one, or any other Geo or Isuzu or any cool 90s product. Please reach out to me. I would love to film it because these are just so unique and so fun. But huge thank you to Steve for making this video possible. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.